Imagine standing on the Korean Peninsula in 1953. Cities have been flattened, millions are dead, and families have been torn apart, many forever. South Korea is one of the poorest nations on earth, with almost no natural resources and little hope for the future. Yet, within just a few decades, this broken land will transform into one of the most powerful, technologically advanced, and culturally influential nations the world has ever seen. This is not just history, it's one of the greatest national transformations of all time. The story of South Korea begins thousands of years ago. Korean tradition speaks of a legendary founder named Dangun, who established the first kingdom Gojoseon way back in 2333 BCE. While we can't confirm the legend, archaeologists have found evidence of advanced societies on the peninsula from very early on. Gojoseon had laws, farming, and a government, but its location, sandwiched between powerful empires, made survival a constant struggle. In 108 BCE, the mighty Han dynasty from China invaded and destroyed Gojoseon. They brought outside influence, but they couldn't erase the Korean identity that had already taken root. After Gojoseon's fall, the peninsula split into three rival kingdoms: Goguryeo, Baekje, and Silla. Goguryeo in the north was a military powerhouse, constantly clashing with Chinese empires. Baekje in the southwest was a cultural and trading hub, even influencing early Japan. And Silla, initially the smallest and weakest, proved to be the most cunning. Through smart alliances and sharp diplomacy, Silla unified most of Korea in 668 CE. This unification forged a shared culture and identity that would define the Korean people for centuries to come. Buddhism flourished, and Korean art, science, and architecture reached new heights. But like many great empires, internal corruption and social inequality eventually led to its decline. In 918, a new dynasty rose to power, Goryeo. This is where Korea gets the name we use today. The Goryeo era was a golden age of culture, especially for Buddhist art and scholarship. One of its most incredible achievements is the Tripitaka Koreana, a massive collection of Buddhist scriptures carved onto over 80,000 wooden blocks. They still exist today, a testament to their dedication. But this era was also marked by constant foreign invasions, most devastatingly by the Mongol Empire. For nearly a century, Korea was forced under Mongol rule. Yet even in submission, Korean traditions and national identity refused to die. Then, in 1392, the Joseon dynasty took over, and it would rule Korea for more than 500 years. Joseon reshaped society around Confucian values, emphasizing education, social order, and loyalty. This period gave us one of the most important figures in Korean history, King Sejong the Great. In the 5th-10th century, he did something revolutionary. He created Hangul, the Korean alphabet. For the first time, ordinary people, not just the elite, could learn to read and write. This brilliant invention strengthened national unity and preserved Korean culture for generations. But Joseon also faced immense hardship. In the late 1500s, Japan invaded, causing widespread destruction. Then, in the 1600s, Manchu forces from China also attacked, weakening Korea even further. In response, Joseon became increasingly isolated, earning the nickname the Hermit Kingdom. This isolation left Korea technologically behind, just as the rest of the world was entering an age of global expansion. This vulnerability came to a head in 1910, when Japan officially annexed Korea, beginning one of the darkest chapters in its history. For 35 long years, Korean culture was systematically suppressed. The Korean language was banned in schools, and millions were forced into labor and military service for the Japanese Empire. Yet the spirit of resistance never faded. In 1919, the March 1st movement saw millions of Koreans peacefully protesting for independence. The uprising was violently crushed, but it lit a fire of nationalism that would never be extinguished. When Japan was defeated in World War II in 1945, Korea was finally free, but its freedom was tragically short-lived. The country was immediately divided. The Soviet Union occupied the North, while the United States controlled the South. By 1948, two separate states were formed, a communist North Korea and an anti-communist South Korea. Tensions exploded in 1950 when North Korea invaded the South, starting the Korean War. It became one of the deadliest conflicts of the Cold War. The U.S. and the United Nations backed the South, while China supported the North. Entire cities were wiped off the map, and millions of civilians were killed. The fighting stopped in 1953, not with a peace treaty, but with a ceasefire, leaving Korea permanently divided and the South in absolute ruins. At that moment, few believed South Korea had a future. It was poor, unstable, and completely dependent on foreign aid. Political chaos followed, and military leaders soon seized control. One of the most pivotal figures was Park Chung-hee, who took power in 1961. His rule was authoritarian, and he severely limited political freedoms, but his focus was razor-sharp economic growth. His government poured resources into industrial development, infrastructure, and education. He pushed the nation towards manufacturing and exports. South Korean workers endured incredibly long hours and harsh conditions, but the results were nothing short of miraculous. Within a single generation, South Korea transformed from a poor farming society into an industrial powerhouse. This incredible growth became known as the miracle on the Han River. Giant corporations like Samsung, Hyundai, and LG were born, driving South Korea to become a global economic leader. By the 1980s, the South Korean people, having achieved economic success, began to demand political freedom. Massive, nationwide pro-democracy protests forced the authoritarian government to change. In 1987, South Korea finally transitioned into a full-fledged democracy with free elections and protected civil rights. Since then, the nation has continued to surge forward, becoming one of the most innovative countries in the world. Today, South Korea is a global titan of technology and culture. It leads the world in electronics, cars, and digital innovation. And its entertainment industry has taken the planet by storm. K-pop, captivating TV dramas, and award-winning films have reshaped global pop culture. Yet, despite all this success, the nation still lives in the shadow of its division. The Korean War has never officially ended, and tensions with North Korea remain a constant reality. The history of South Korea is a powerful story of survival, resilience, and breathtaking transformation. From ancient kingdoms and devastating invasions to colonization, war, dictatorship, and finally, democracy, South Korea has faced annihilation time and time again, only to rise stronger. Thank you for watching. If you found this story as incredible as I do, please like, subscribe, and hit the bell to join us for more amazing stories from history. See you next time.